Good evening. We are live and welcome to Hang Out in the Crib with the Battle Pirates Crib. I am the BP Professor, and tonight we have Hefe.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Are there any ladies or gentlemen out there? I would question. and we have Holsch,
Howdy, everyone.
who is a gentleman. And I have beer, and I have new headphones, and
Wow.
and my mic hopefully is better now. I hear there have been complaints.
Yes. Is he better out there, everybody? In YouTube land? As far as Larry's volume?
Raise your hand. No, wait, that doesn't work.
Okay.
All right, so we got a raid starting tomorrow, and that's going to be most of what we're going to talk about tonight. So we can get to the slides
Okay.
as soon as I click the right buttons. All right, and it's called Arms Race because arms.
Yeah. Everybody made me remove the picture from. Never mind. Once we get to that slide.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, so let's start with bug fixes. First of all, the Icebreaker has been buffed. Its defensive aura has been increased by about 10% per ship. Exactly 10% per ship. Long officer names will no longer overlap with the assignment. Dropped blah blah. Charged armor, the wrong one would drop because Kixeye doesn't check these things. Fixed an issue where campaign relay towers were not being removed. Yeah, I saw that all the time.
It's still happening to me, so I don't know.
I don't know. And then fixed an issue with the gridiron monolith where the aura was not displaying in the correct place. It doesn't really change how the game plays, but
Oh, it does. It does.
it does. You're gonna get to that.
Yeah, just click it once, and there'll be a.
Okay. But I like Hornets, Hornets, Hornets. It's a really good song by the Hold Steady, by the way.
Well, I was trying to find something else for the bug fixes. So,
I see.
yeah.
All right.
I'm having to branch out at this point.
All right. So what does this change? Or is it still broken?
No, right now, well, there's been a good thing added because once they buffed the monolith last week or last update, we were sort of at a loss when they were getting impacted by the Gridiron's aura. And if you notice the one, the number 2 ship has 2 little icons there. The one on the left with the little arrow up is the monolith aura, the monolith sort of stacking aura that increases damage and whatnot. The one on the right that sort of looks like a thud or the offensive, yeah. Well, it's also the same icon they have if you go into Base Planner. If you have AT or ATR.
Okay.
So it means, additional attack, attacking. So that indicates that you are in the Gridiron's aura. As you see, one is inside, one is outside. Previously, there was a graphical glitch where the orange circle did not represent when you were in the Gridiron's aura. Now it does match up. The big thing is that you could stack your gridiron with your normal monoliths, and they would be within that field. Now, if you stack them, they are no longer in the field. So, I guess if you didn't realize that was the difference, it has major ramifications on how you're going to potentially drive this. Because before you could drive them all like you drove Apollos. Now you can't. Now you got to have them a boatload's boat lengths back or more in order to get the impact from the aura.
Yeah, I tried hitting a 115 last night with them, stacked. Well, not stacked, but in formation so that they were pretty close to, the back line was pretty close to the front of the aura, and they still got pounded by the arcs. It was rough.
Yeah, but it's a lot of people have been setting up their monoliths to run stacked, either by speed adjustments or by including maybe charged X armors or other X armors on them, because they thought they would be impacted by the cold snap if they were running them stacked.
Yeah.
But now they're going to be running them further back, which means they're most likely going to be, as long as you have enough gales or hailstorms or whatnot, that most likely you're only going to be impacted by penetrating damage. So it's, after last week when they messed us with the charged armor, now, and people refit, now they've messed with us again 2 days before, 2 days before the raid, and again changed the whole dynamic on how the most elite hull is supposed to function 2 days before the second to last raid.
And with absolutely no warning that they would change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've said this before, but I really regret building monoliths. I mean, I would have been much happier, I think, at this point with Zelos and the Empyrean and the MX.
Yeah, I mean, it's because with this move, if you've tried to drive them, if you were driving them semi-stacked and not in this field, it pretty much nullifies the accelerate function, or special ability of this ship, because it's difficult to keep them inside of that field if they're not stacked and having them moving all the time in order to maintain that combat speed, or otherwise they're just citadels. So yeah, it's extremely frustrating that they did it now. If they didn't intend it to do that, have it run the way it did for the first 2 months. Maybe they should have done some research beforehand, or fix it earlier, or fix it after this raid. Don't release it 2 days before the raid. I mean, I don't know. We're going to talk, I think we're going to talk a little bit more about the whole idea of how they're rushing themselves as developers and how they're rushing the players. And I don't think
that's the next slide, isn't it?
It's the slide after next.
All right.
This is just a quick one to show how they changed the icebreaker. Old one on the left, new one on the right. Only change is the explosive and penetrated defense going up by 10%, but which also stacks, which makes it pretty significant.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep talking about that, the 3-month raid cycle, and how that's been hurting everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could go back to the Cannoneers and the way that the haphazard way that the Cannoneers were introduced to the game. We could, or the Millennium Gun, we could do that. And I'm not sure if that's related to rushing everything, or if that's just related to the way they thought would work. More what I would like to talk about is the fact that, like I said, we start a raid tomorrow, and the last week they've completely changed. They've completely changed the mechanics of the charged armor, the monolith, the OU-10, the gridirons, aura, all within the last week, and we're halfway through the 3-month raid cycle. It seems like if they were given time before and after, giving them an extra month, they might be able to figure this stuff out before they released it to the customer base.
Yep. Yeah, and I said this at the last town hall. I said, guys, errors are one thing, but it should have been really clear when you designed the thing with simple math that the combat mortar OU was no better than the previous generation of mortar, and that the monolith as released was no better than a decently retrofitted Citadel. I mean, it was just simple math, right? That's not an error. That's just not thinking about it, not doing the work they should have been able to do.
Yes. And the other impact is what's, besides the players sort of being, I don't know what the right word is, disappointed or not trusting or whatnot, what KIXEYE is going to do as far as it relates to the raid cycle and the rush to build all these things that then turn out not to really work the way they were sold, and then not being able to really participate in other aspects of the game because they've been tied up building these things for this short raid cycle, and then refitting because of the improper way it was presented to the players, and then the changes that were then made to them late in the game. So things like base hitting and the player versus player part of it has sort of taken a back seat because everybody's been busy trying to build these halls and not really knowing what's coming. I mean, we don't know if the A set's going to change or whatnot.
Right. The S set, and I predicted this after the last raid, was that the way they were going to make this format harder was by focusing on hitting your backline ships. And I think when you look at how the 115 works, it's pretty obvious that's what they're doing. And so, is the A set going to do the same thing this raid? I guess we don't know yet.
Yes, and Holsch has been in the YouTube chat saying that the burger needs more bacon, but in reality, it already has 3 different types of bacon. If Larry, you would like to go into in depth on that.
Yeah, well, so in that burger, you've got the burger clearly, and the cheese and the lettuce and the tomato. But when you get to the bacon, you do have 3 types of bacon. First type of bacon is bacon, right? Bacon strips, that's your general standard bacon. Second type of bacon, represented by the lady on the left, I'm just going to make that arbitrary decision. The lady on the left represents the crumbled up bacon added to the strips of bacon. And then to finish it off, the pièce de résistance, if you will, the lady on the right represents bacon jam spread upon the bun of the burger, giving you 3 types of bacon. Once more, that's bacon strips, crumbled bacon, and bacon jam.
Okay. Are you happy now, Holsch? Is there enough bacon on this?
No, it still needs more.
Okay. Alrighty. Try to convince the youngins nowadays. It's difficult.
They always want more bacon.
Yep. Is there anything, Holsch, that you have on the 3-month raid cycle, and anything you think we need to cover?
Yeah, with all the build times and just the refits of how they're changing stuff and changing the way you need stuff. Because like the charged armor, for one example, like everyone knows, how they've increased the build time on that and they've changed the whole dynamic of it. So you're taking even more time to build your even basic fleet for the raid compared to I guess you can go back to, like Apollos or Hellwraths, how all that you could probably you built the one time and you were set for the rest of the raids.
Yeah. Right. I mean, last cycle I had 3 cannoneers for the first one, 4 for the second, and then that plus the Harlock for the third. And I mean, I was building them up, but at least I didn't have to like keep messing with it. This time, I didn't have really any monolith fleet worth anything for the first round, and now I've got a full fleet. But I feel like the backline monoliths with no armor and getting close to max weight are going to need some serious refits if I want to hit the top target for the third raid cycle, and I think I can probably rule it out for this one. So I've built them, and I had time to build them. It's just, oh, I built them wrong.
Yeah. Well, based on the information that was provided to you. Yeah, and it's the information keeps on changing, and not on a very, relative to the short timeline. It's just coming too close to when they actually need to perform.
Right. And I mean, I could say it's my own damn fault, right? Because I predicted, hey, they're going to attack the back line, but where I was incorrect is I thought that I could protect my back line essentially through skill, through being able to drive the ships correctly. Pretty much with those giant arc missiles, the answer is no. You can't protect your back line through skill, through placing them off to the side or keeping them close to your tank or far away from your tank. They're pretty much screwed, and you just have to armor the crap out of them. Right?
Pretty much. And, with a lot of people armored them in the first place, but they armored them to be a balanced armoring, because they thought they might have to deal with the cold snaps if they ran them stacked. But now, if they're way back there, pretty much they're going to most likely have to just deal with penetrative.
Yep.
But they're not armored that way. But they might have spent, amongst four of them, they might have, to refit, it's like 3 days per plate. Sometimes it's like 3 days per plate to rearmor. Right. So it's 12, and you're running into some people might have put things like been creative and put something like an ablative panel and then put all charged missile armor on them, and those people are they're way messed up, or the opposite. So it's all these changes really late in the game, when they're not communicating what their vision is or testing what it is before they show it to us is sort of, I'm voting for the 4-month raid cycle. So we can add another type of bacon, maybe like we can is the bacon jam versus like a bacon aioli, is that a difference?
Ooh, bacon aioli.
Yeah. Use the bacon grease to actually create the aioli instead of some sort of oil.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure the kids want a bacon weave. That's all the rage these days.
Yeah. I've seen some young ladies wearing them. Yeah, but that's only on the internet. I haven't really seen that in person.
No.
Okay, so maybe if they come up with that, move to a 4-month raid cycle, we'll have some bacon weave bikinis on the show.
So let me just give you a little bit of a counterpoint, though. Mm-hmm. If they move to a 4-month raid cycle, I don't know that their quality is going to be any better. I mean, do we really think that rushing is the cause of this, or are we just going to have one extra round of misery as they try and screw around with things and get them right?
Well, at least they're going to, if they're not going to test them prior to release, at least they can test them, at least that they have longer to react once they start getting the data from people hitting them, people, complaining on the forums, or just additional player input. Not really, I'm not saying which type, but there's all sorts of different ways they could get player input and implement it before the raid cycle is over. Right. It's possible. You can be right. I'm just saying that it gives them more opportunity if they want it by moving to a 4-month raid cycle.
Yep. Alrighty. Bye, Hardy's ladies. So the next raid is called Arms Race because kicks eye. So, continuing with the great tier numbers, they managed to keep the same nomenclature for 2 raids in a row.
Yes. Why was the S set tier 6 last time? Is it next raid? It's going to be tier 8 in the next raid cycle for the S target. I don't understand why we went from 3, 4, 5, 6 to 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's a good point. They have changed the nomenclature. I withdraw my previous clapping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Anybody gives a shit.
I don't even know why they did that because it makes because I mean,
And then we keep on referring to them, and in other places as the A set, B set, S set.
Right.
I mean, somebody that's way up the chain decided to call these tier numbers, and the player base isn't buying into it. And I don't think some of the people communicating from Kixeye, I don't think they follow. They want to make the change either.
Just it just adds to confusion for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that we need to go through this slide. I mean, it's 4 tiers, and they go from easy to hard. Thank goodness only 1 target in the S set. Right. That's
but it's a giant target at that though.
Yeah. If it has that mechanic of the 116, I'm probably not going to bother. 115. So we'll see.
Yep.
All right, we'll keep rolling. Here's the points. Good points for that difficult target, but good luck with it. Anything else we want to say point-wise?
I think the tier 6 has gone down. I don't know. They're sort of similar. I don't think we're seeing quite the same point inflation that we did last raid.
Well, the prize costs are the same, right?
Well, we're going to get to that. Not Thursday through Saturday morning.
Oh, hey, good point.
There is going to be a sale, a blue light special on the Icebreaker. Wait, but do you understand why the last picture was there? You got to explain that if you didn't figure it out your own self.
Set points. I don't know. It's kind of hot.
Who do you think it is?
Who do I think it is? Uh-oh. I don't know.
It might have been easier if I put in Serena Williams. That's Maria Sharapova.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, okay. Holz figured it out. But he might have had more time.
She's all right.
Yeah. She's tall. She's like 6'1".
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even lying down.
Yeah. Well, that's a frightening image. Well, we can move on to the blitz targets.
All right, blitz targets. So these points per gold on these blitz targets is probably going to be pretty terrible. Right, 5 gold for 800,000 is 160,000 points per gold, which is again,
That's sad.
it's going to be an expensive raid. Yeah, I mean that's if you just want the 3 top prizes for 40K, 40 million. I mean, you're talking 250 gold or so to do a raid.
Costs twice as much to get the same amount of points blitzing compared to the last raid.
Mm. Okay. That's right. Last raid they weren't quite so punishing on the blitzes. The level 69 is maybe a little better, right? If you can get 185,000 for 1 gold.
If you're low level. Because remember, that's why they gave us around 185.
Down.
Because of, hitting down multiplier.
All right. Good point.
Yeah.
So, okay. Don't do that.
Unless you're low level.
Unless you're low level, in which case you probably still don't want to do it, but it's not quite as terrible as if you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to scrape by on some points and you can't do this raid, but you could do the last one, well, then you can do these Dark Depths campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a cool idea when they came out, but it just seems like the points overall is pretty low. And
Yeah, they didn't actually publish them this time.
yeah.
So that's why they're not here. Unless they
Okay.
changed it recently.
But like last time, you couldn't get enough points just doing campaigns to win top prizes.
No. This is for people just to. No, it was a
Couple million.
yeah.
For
yeah.
the people that didn't listen and build the right fleets to actually do the raid.
Well, sort of the right fleets.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
Is there a tie-in here that I'm missing? She's got
well,
jewels.
it's the first lady.
It is. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thanks.
She's deciding the fate of the FBI director right there. But we can move on.
All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so the main prizes. You've got your on the left side. You've got your garrison essentially track, and then on the right side you've got your Conqueror track.
Yes.
So now the 50% off, it's I guess not too clear from the slide, but that applies to just the icebreaker, the siege rockets, and the garrison battery.
Yeah, that's why I tried to color code them, poorly. But yeah, so Thursday 9 a.m. to Saturday 9 a.m. Those top three on the left-hand side are 50% off.
Yep. So you could do your raid in half the time and do it for half the points if you're trying to catch up.
Yeah, you could get the whole thing for 20 million. We'll probably see why. I think in the unlock store why they did this, because the icebreaker at that point would be 10, siege rockets 6, and the garrison battery 4. You'll see the monolith prizes related in the unlock store are even cheaper than that, which is even more confusing.
That's a great point. Why would you buy the icebreaker for more than the monolith? Although we've already talked about how much I hate the monolith, so
That's true.
but it's not like I really like the icebreaker either.
No, yeah, it's
I'm really down on this whole cycle.
yeah.
And I want to be clear, I'm down on it, not down with it.
Okay, we got it.
All right. Should we talk about the new prizes, I guess? Oh, no, let's talk about the store. Let's keep talking store.
Yeah.
Locked prizes. I think these are all kind of worthless except the charged armor, which,
Which is still pricey.
yep.
Yeah, I guess it depends on it's like who they're selling it to. Like I talked about with Holsch beforehand, that the charged armor is still in the lock store.
Yeah.
So you basically, because basically if you get if you already had the icebreaker side, and then you have to get the innervated explosive or whatever it is, which is only for conquerors and defenders.
Right.
And you probably wouldn't want to put it on. You definitely wouldn't want to put it on a defender, most likely with a -10 projectile speed. It's a little, it's a lot of people are PvE players, and the fact that they have to claim PvP halls in order to get PvE equipment, especially at these already outrageous prices, just seems a little counterintuitive to me. But go out there and get you can get up to 20 mana war shards, people. Go out and do it. Kixeye needs the money.
Don't do it. Not even the Gamma really is all that useful at this point.
Well, you only need to spend $4 million to get it
Yeah.
because you only need 10. So
But would you build a
It's-
Gamma now?
It's still useful because it's got the best it's the best anti ship for your base by far.
Okay.
and it really depends on what level you are. If you don't have the if you
Alpha.
don't have yeah, if you don't have the alpha or the Harlock alpha or whatnot, and you don't have the fleets in order to get those kind of points in the raid, 4 million's fairly cheap.
Yeah.
That's what you can get.
All right. All right. All right. Goodbye, caged, locked up ladies. Oh, and she's got a watch for the time store.
Yeah.
Aw.
She's making sure that you don't run out of time to spend 5 million on a Gale 3. She's very worried about that.
God, that is expensive.
Yeah.
And Gales are so necessary now. They really have you over a barrel.
Yeah. And the useless D6 armor.
Yeah, I got a lot of those stock piled up. That's one I definitely won't be buying.
Yeah. So yeah, the time store. I mean, at least I don't put anything useful in it. At least at the price. At least at the price.
Yeah, nothing really
'Cause
want.
otherwise, it'd be much more upsetting.
Right.
I'm surprised there's not a badge. Oh, I get stuff from the the time limited store because that feels like the market for that kind of stuff at those prices.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So then we got the unlocked store. Here's what Hefe, you were talking about. So you could spend 20 million in the first 2 days of the raid, or for the icebreaker and all that stuff, or you
Mhm.
could spend 16 million whenever you want and get the monolith and all its stuff.
Yeah.
I think,
What's the message there?
I don't know. Somebody asked me if the monolith would be in this raid, and I thought, no, they just gave it out in the campaign. No way is it going to be in this store. But here it is.
But I don't. I mean, I don't understand the larger message where they're making, and then like if we look over to the right hand side, the heavy mortar for the Empyrean is 8 million, while the combat mortar for the OU-10 is 5 million. And then I think on the half price store, the siege rockets that go with the icebreaker are 6 million at half price. So this is the most expensive one, which is the generalist, which is supposed to be the cheapest way to go.
Hmm.
I'm sort of baffled by the whole what they're trying to present by the prices that they provide.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Are they trying to send a message through the pricing?
All right. Let's talk tokens, right? You got the regular general ship build tokens, 3.5 million for a 1 day, and a little worse value for the 12-hour and the 1 hours. I think what's interesting is these 1 day tokens for the icebreaker and the monolith are really close in price to the general tokens.
Yeah. But you can get so many of them.
Get more. Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Two up.
get 10 days, and if you add it, 13 days, 15 days, you can get a couple weeks out of them. So I guess they're just pushing you to build them. And then the fact that the other confusing one here is the Harlock Citadel is more expensive than the Empyrean, which I don't know if that also speaks to the longevity of these halls moving forward. I'm baffled by the pricing structure.
No, I
mean,
can see that.
it's sort of like at the there's this there's one store where I go to buy beer, and they had a 24 pack of the same brand. It was $15.99 for the 24, and it was $16.99 for the 18. And
Marketing to drunk people.
I didn't understand it. And that was last week. This week, $5.99 for the 12-pack, $13 for the case.
See, that one's subtle.
Yeah.
Maybe the pricing is by drunk people.
Yeah, that's a possibility. And that's what I'm wondering here in the Unlock store.
Okay.
That's what I'm throwing out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, like, if you don't have monoliths or icebreakers and you need this that bad, are you going to be earning 30 million points to get 10 of these tokens?
I mean, they haven't given us any reason to want to build them that much, especially when you're, giving this other stuff out. I'm lost. Go ahead, Holsh. I'm sorry.
If you do actually need the build tokens that bad, but you can't get that many points, it's actually, if you do use the blitz target and blitz it to get those monolith day build tokens, it's cheaper to do that than just coin the build. So if you can do the blitz target for the minimum 5 coin repair.
800.
Okay.
What is that? So it's like 20 coin for a 1 day. Enough points to get a 1 day instead of 48. So it's half price. All right. Good point, Holsh. All right. Other Zelos Empyrean tokens, a little cheaper.
Yeah.
VXP tokens, maybe cheaper than VXP.
Definitely cheaper than coining it.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, though, Frontline Countermeasure for 600K, Phalanx 4 for 600K. If you don't have these, get these. These are key.
Yeah. And then the Hellstorm D for 1.2, when you compare it to 5 million for each Gale 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. If you don't have Gales, then the Hail D is definitely a good pickup.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of people, myself included, are kind of mixing one of these in with some Gales so you get staggered reloads. It's a nice
Yep.
tip. All right, let's talk new stuff. Enervated explosives. Maybe we just go kind of quick through these and then talk about the group as a whole.
Okay. Sounds good.
So this is a special. It's a Conqueror Defender only special. Big spread, big splash, big damage, a little bit slower speed. But maybe if you have high velocity rounds on there or something, this will be worth taking that 10%.
It doesn't stack with that.
Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't stack with high velocity rounds or the high yield warheads.
okay. So you got to make them dead slow before you can use this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, next. Torp and Mortar. Good DPS per ton. Maybe not so good on the first hit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like a little better reload than those OU and Judgment Mortars. I think those are 10 seconds?
Yeah, I think so. Off the top of my head. Yeah, 10 or 12. Are they 10 or 12? I don't know.
It might be 12.
Yeah. But the thing that's not here is it has a very slow projectile speed relative to the other ones.
Right, and we all love that. Next. And then the Sloth, which is got a remote targeting range of 100%. Doom's really talking up the fact that you get this, plus an extra 10% per Sloth. So
Yep.
you can stand way off when you put these dead slow mortars and dead slow special on your dead slow combat speed ship and take a nap while you're waiting for your mortars to land.
Yep.
Yeah. But when they do land, if your tank isn't dead, they're gonna fuck stuff up. But until that point in time where you go out and you get a beer and come back, your tank might be dead. So I wouldn't run one tank with 4 of these, if you're going to hit a competitive base, maybe run at least 2 tanks and 3 of these, which, does cut away at the stacking over here.
I don't get this hull. I mean, okay, so the big deal is it's got this targeting scrambler, right? And it masks the sloth from enemy weapons as long as any other ship is also in range of the weapon. So,
Yeah.
right, so you could theoretically run this like right next to your tanks, right?
Well, as long as Splash isn't going to get it, yeah.
Well, and it won't keep up with your other tanks because its combat speed is only 8.
Yes.
So then if you run the standing off, then, like Maxims, your tank is gonna get inside the donut hole of the Maxim, and then the Maxims are gonna eat this thing up.
Well, I'm thinking about prior to that. If you go up to the top, you'll notice the armor points are 75,000. All the other tier 6 Conquerors are running at 125,000.
Well,
what this is defeating is priority targeting in a large way.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's.
But
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, like mortars are going to chew this thing up. There's no explosive deflection.
But they do have the stacking splash damage reduction, which is going to help against that.
Okay.
Right. Once you start stacking them and putting on warplating, it could get up there fairly high, but it only has 2 armor plates. So you can only go so high with that. And that's why, it's going to be interesting to want to see how it actually, how it moves and, how it works in live action.
Okay, so were either of you guys in the preview for this? I was not.
I was. And so was Hulsh.
Yep. Okay.
Hulsh tried to invent. Oh, I'll let you tell Larry Hulsh. I don't want to speak out of turn.
Tell the world, Hulsh.
Yeah, what was your invention that you tried out?
Oh, I tried to use it as a blitz fleet to check if the splash damage reduction stacked additively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how did it work as a blitz fleet?
It dies.
Okay. All right.
So wait, how does this work if the sloth, if it's all sloths? Do they all scramble each other and you're invulnerable?
No, it'll still aim. It'll still aim at something. It's sort of what I was talking about before. As long as another ship is in range, it's like the last one that's going to be aimed at. So it appears to overcome priority targeting. And if for some reason, like maybe you wanted to like sneak up from the backside on the base and then send a tank that was already in range, your sloth might be closer for some reason. Maybe if it was going through like some turn in the base, it would still not fire at it. But it's not like it's got a shroud like some of the other stuff does. It's not. I mean, it's not impressive with. I mean, I think you need to see it in action because it's basically like. It's really interesting to watch it fire because it's with the torpid mortar, because it has a high reload, and the torpid mortar's got a slow projectile time, and then now you got the kinetic buffer out there slowing it down even more, and then the specials belt is slowing it down even more.
So hey, let me ask this. I mean, would it make sense to use the sloth with just like different mortars, different specials?
It would. It speeds it up. But like we went to go back to the last slide, it doesn't have the damage that the other ones. It does way more damage than the other ones do.
Yeah, but if it doesn't land in a reasonable amount of time, then the damage is worthless.
Well, if we have more time, creating a very nimble fleet that can go in and out of range. If you have like a very fast, like say you run a very fast Liberator with the 106 range, and you do everything else to keep it as fast as possible and high turn speed. You go in there, you target it, and then you run off get that thing out of range. and let those mortars hit. Then you go back, you hit another part of the base, boom, and you can pick at them by avoiding the damage on your tank while these things are in the air. I mean, it's just one idea on how to run it.
And also keep in mind that we're still going to get more of the Seven Deadly Sins series, so it
Yep.
may perfectly pair with one of the next ones we get.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to, once you get the lust, you don't want to, you don't want to pair the the torpid mortar with the flaccid torpedo. It's just gonna mess people up.
So, all right.
But you had a question there?
Is the Lust going to run the pink torpedo?
we don't know yet. I mean, you're in the town hall meetings. You can suggest all this stuff.
Got to be a pink torpedo.
Yeah, well, yeah. Or at least call it the flaccid torpedo. That would be
Flaccid torpedo.
Yeah,
The
that
flesh
would
tuxedo.
yes.
So, in slightly more serious, they've already had like a Wrath. So what are they going to do for that one? They're going to do Anger.
But may just be another Wraith, maybe
Wrath?
without the hell in front of it.
Hellwraith.
Yeah.
Well, but there was Grimshine's Wrath, right?
Yeah, and the hell, but yeah, maybe there's just going to be one just pure and simple without anybody else's
The
name in
Wrath.
front of it.
Okay.
But was there
I
a
don't
straight
know.
up Wrath? There was Grimshine's, but was there a
No, I don't think
okay?
so. What was Grimshine? I mean, Grimshine's Wrath was kind of like it's not more like a Hellhound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't missile?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had an overload for missiles, and then it also gave a flagship effect for reload. I think missile reload.
Yeah. Whoopie doo. So this is kind of like the first ship in a long time when I'm thinking, I'm not really sure I ever want to build any of these. Like
And
really.
you didn't think that about the oppressor?
No, I built some because I had tokens.
Yeah, they were free to build. I mean, that's what I think. What's going to happen with this is it may not be good for hitting bases, but I think it's going to be quite good in some of the TLCs. Sort of like what they did with the Pride. The Pride had some issues in bases for a while, and then they popularized it by making it the go-to hull in the TLCs. But
Yeah, maybe. Huh.
and therefore, once you earn it, then you can start getting basically free hulls, free Conqueror hulls. Once you get the ones you earn in the raid and spend your time to build them, then you can get the free ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Before we move on to this heavy mortar, I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about with the Sloth or the stuff with the Sloth?
Let me think. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tricky one to run, but I mean, as far as because it's still if you're running a tank that gets inside the range of a cat mortar, the cat mortar is still gonna go and land on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is no ballistic and well, I mean, I guess you can add rad plates, but no radioactive.
Well, you could run a double tank setup. So,
But I think Hefe's point was if this thing's anywhere near your tank, the cat mortar is going to destroy it.
well, yes and no. Well, I was running 4 of them, and if I was moving, they would take a little bit of damage. But I mean, this was against maxed out cat morts, so I mean, it took a while for them to die if I was moving, but if I was just sitting, it kind of melted quite fast.
Okay. All right. Heavy Ragnarok mortar. This is the generalist, so this is the heavy mortar that you can put on the Empyrean. It's about the only thing this is good for. So keep that in mind.
Well, yeah, it's only good for it because that's all they let you do. I'm surprised they made it so restrictive. A heavy weapon restriction, which at this point, what else are you going to put it on? The Retribution, the Neptune, and what else? What else carries a heavy weapon?
The heavy cruiser.
Heavy
Heavy
cruiser.
cruiser. So the fact that we had to make this a generalist, I'm assuming just to keep it away from the Retribution.
Unless we're coming out with more heavy weapon slots for non-generalist holes.
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility.
I hope not.
Okay. You
And then
know,
you
you're
gotta-
not a big fan of the heavy weapon?
Not at a
Yes.
3-day build time.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be 6 days and 18 hours when they originally reduced it. But I think it's one of those things like we're going to give them something completely ridiculous and they'll be upset about it. And then we'll split it in half and then they'll be happy. I think that's what happened with that because it was on original release, it was 6 days, 18 hours.
God, that's horrible.
But I think it works. It works, you know. We can come out with a 30-day build time and cut it down to 3 and they're like, "Oh, look what they did for us. We're so happy now." Even if it's ridiculous to begin with. But if you take a look at what this does, the 3-day 9 hours is not that bad. Because that ship defense is
Yeah. If you want to try and use those Empyreans against something that targets your back line, I mean, this will really pay off. I'll buy that.
and the thing that's again, maybe if we had a 4-week raid cycle, there's no mention in the blueprint of the repair time like there is for everything else that includes armor.
Which is nice.
No, there's just no mention of it.
Yeah,
Or
that was
actually-
surprising.
Yeah. It's actually 42 minutes, which is a repair efficiency of 1, which is a crappy one.
Yep.
So maybe that's why they left it off.
Maybe.
It has a 42-minute repair time. I'm not putting that thing on. I mean, that's the only reason, because all the other ones, every other weapon that includes armor points, also in the miscellaneous category, includes a repair time. This one doesn't and has the longest repair time of any of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Do we need to talk about
Wait,
this
did
anymore?
we? No. I'm not sure how this one. I think we're end of slides.
End of slides. Any particular significance to these ladies that I might be missing?
No, I just threw them out there because the end of slides is I don't know. I just throw out random stuff at that point.
That's
They're in
fine.
the Hot Shots calendar.
Okay. I don't see any obvious violations of military safety protocol.
No, that's
Standard uniform.
Yeah.
All right.
Should I take you off focus?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I didn't turn the lights on down here. It's getting dark.
Yeah, the days are getting longer.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying normally, if it was in the winter, you would turn the lights on beforehand. Or
Yes.
you bought some new stuff that's back in your bar and you don't want anybody to see it.
Nope.
All we see is a big black hole back there at this point. Before we could pick out individual liquor bottles.
Yeah. You could sometimes see my sous vide.
Oh, you keep it down. This isn't. I always pictured this is downstairs and you got a kitchen upstairs. Is that wrong?
No, that's correct. It's just
Okay.
I store it down here usually, and sometimes if I'm running long cooks on that, I will store it down here
Okay.
or run it down here.
Okay.
Made short ribs last week. They came out really good. That's 2 days at 140.
Wow. That's wow. I mean, I'm just thinking. I mean, how does that work as far as the anybody that might be immunocompromised?
No, it's not growing bacteria in that.
At 140?
Nah.
What do you pack? Do they tell you to pack it with? Is there like already salt in there?
I mean, I did do a little salt and pepper, but
Okay.
no, I didn't do anything too special.
Okay.
Nobody got sick. I did finish them in the broiler. Maybe that kills stuff, but
Yeah, because it's mostly going to be superficial. Yeah, I've got a heat gun that I'm going to use to strip some varnish off some furniture. But yeah, you can also, that thing cranks up to like 1400 Fahrenheit.
oh, that'd be nice for finishing.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So anyway, do we have anything Battle Pirates related that we still want to talk about? Because I don't know. I mean, I know Hefe, you and I could talk about cooking for a while, but I'm not sure the rest of our audience is all that interested.
Well, Rum Runner's asking what you braised them with.
Oh,
and which sous vide do you have?
So I have an Anova. It's just the Bluetooth version. And so what I did is a little salt and pepper, 2 days at 140. And then actually I brushed them with some honey and sprinkled some ginger powder, ground ginger on them.
Okay.
And then broiler for about five minutes aside, maybe a little less.
Okay. And you don't have the, I brought up the heat gun, which is a cheap solution. But, I forget which one of those people came out with, like, the Searsol. You don't have the Searsol yet.
Oh,
We talked about that.
No.
Okay.
Kind of want one of those.
Yeah.
I guess
it would be impressive just to, just do it on people's plates. Serve them all, come out with the big torch. Be like something out of Doom.
Probably mess up your plates.
Yeah, you might have to go with a metal plate on that instance.
Yeah.
But I did post the link in
Yeah, we got Judge
YouTube
Steele already.
Yep, we got Judge Steele and anybody else that'd like to join us, because I'm not sure if there's anything else that we have. I think we talked out the 3 month versus 4 month raid cycle.
Yep.
And
I am not going to be able to hang around for too long on the after show tonight, but
okay.
I'll at least say hello.
Hey, Ren.
Hey guys,
How are you doing?
good you?
No, you heard.
Yeah,
So, I forget. Yeah, your show was already after the announcement of the.
yeah. We were told by many people we were way too salty, so whatever that means.
Yeah, well, Brian brings the salt to start the show. So, and I see Mike is already bringing some flavor associated with the Kixeye intro video.
You bring in the moose and squirrel.
Yes.
There you
Larry,
go.
have you heard the intro video for this raid?
I think I heard it. Yeah, Greta has her. Yeah, serious.
She's got a bad Russian accent. Yeah.
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 Which is funny for someone with the last name Spader. How Russian is that?
Well, I don't think. What's his face? James Spader? Is that the
James
actor?
Spader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
not
he
Russian.
No, I don't think so. But yeah. I mean, it would be funny if it really sounds like they're taking somebody from inside Kixeye that doesn't even have an Eastern European accent and forcing them to do that, which is odd that they chose to go that way. Maybe they just thought the artwork with her that somehow she looked Russian.
No, Stuart said yesterday, and he knows things. So Stuart said that was Raycon on his pink Hello Kitty boots
Okay.
making the accent. That's what he said.
Okay. I mean, I think
Well,
they
if he knows
should have
things
done.
about things.
Yeah, I think they should have done some real life video with that, and that would have been highly entertaining and got rid of all the stuff about the ships and whatnot, but just have Raykin doing that, doing his impression there. I think that would have been fascinating for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
Now
Judge
you're talking
Steele
about the heavy mortar. I'm really happy with it, except for the timing.
Yeah. I mean, if I know, Ren, you've been big on the Empyreans, and like I said, I don't know if you watched the whole show through. Early in the show, I said I wished I'd gone that way instead of building the.
Well, Larry, I can say at least one thing. From all the 3 options for this raid cycle, at least it's been the most stable one.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, with all the mass, there was no recalibration, no tuning, no massive changing other than the armor that affected everyone. But I mean, the ship at least has been very stable. And now people are saying, oh, it kind of lacks power. And then all of a sudden we have this massive beast of this heavy mortar and 10 days of tokens in the raid. So I think I'm going to go down that path, because every time that Mofo fires, it's going to be 32 shells hitting the target.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be nice. I think that, like I said, I think it's a nice option. I mean, I wasn't too happy with the mortar, I guess, like build time, but
yeah, build time sucks. 3 days sucks. Plus,
but I
I'm
mean,
going to
all
have to
those-
refit. The problem with the time is, like, I'm going to have to refit a lot of things on my ships for just to fit the mortar in, right?
And most heavy weapons have been in that 2-day, 3-day build time anyway.
Yeah.
It's not shocking. It's just not great.
Yeah. And George and guys, I don't know if you guys were doing the show. Did you see the latest time limited offers?
Fun times.
Did you?
No.
I got to see them both. Yeah, I don't know. I was
Some
trying to-
players, not all players, but some players are getting an offer to buy all the monolith related blueprints for $20.
I guess I wouldn't get that.
Yeah, and another offer is to actually get the whole fleet built and ranked for $200.
with charged armors,
Oh,
one each.
Like
X and
3
M.
Diron mono, 4 monos, all built by someone at Kickside, but already, and I think ranked at 60% for $200. Buy now.
And each one has an X and an M armor on it too, with garrison battery on it as well.
dang.
Now, I don't know what you think. I mean, somebody could say that's Kickside throwing a bone. That could say that's them just trying to make money and being greedy. I don't know where in the spectrum that falls, actually. I mean, nobody's forced to buy, so whatever, right?
Yeah.
They'll say it's for the people that are getting back in the game that want to get right up to speed.
I can't comment because I'm too salty right now. So
But speaking of which, is anybody? I mean, it was me and Holsh and Larry talking about the 3 versus 4 month raid cycle. Does anybody else have anything that we didn't cover to add, positive or negative? You know, or 3. You know, am I pro 3 or am I pro 4?
well,
I'm
the one
always-
question I have is whether it was 3 or 4, would that have changed them changing the charged armor 7 weeks in, or changing the aura 2 days before the raid? I mean, it's the
Yeah.
second raid.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to, George. Is I'm not convinced that they'd have better quality, better.
I would imagine, or at least hope, that with an extra month of working around the same targets, that would somewhat alleviate the pressure on them to produce new targets, right? And maybe that will give them more lead time to produce the next cycle.
Maybe.
So,
But
and that's, again, it's just wishful thinking. So maybe 4 months would be better for them, and 4 months would definitely, even with the changes they're throwing at us now, would still allow us to refit, and then maybe still have a full month to build defenders and conquerors and other stuff,
Yeah, but
other
what
than
does,
just refit for raid. You know,
what does it say about them when, you know, this is the one raid set where this is the one that they have to get right, because this is our FM for the next year.
and they will get right. I mean, George, eventually they will get right. It's just taking their sweet effing time, you know. But I have faith that they will in the end get right, because they can't afford
yeah,
to
but
screw
does
up
that-
FM.
Well,
Does
we'll
that mean
find
that
out.
they're going to change? Yeah, does that mean they're going to change stuff like before the FM starts? I mean, are they going to be changing stuff until then?
Probably.
Oh, see, that's not good.
I mean, not the mechanic, but tuning the targets. I'm certain they're going to be tuning those things until the 3 weeks after they become FM.
I would
Well,
be
it doesn't mean they're going to be better. I mean, I like the Scourge targets during the raid better than the Scourge base part targets we have now.
Same. I miss the 71 from the raid. That was a nice target to do, and it's not there now.
Yeah. And then, but the 99s now are the 75s from the raid, which aren't that bad, but 99s are pretty rare.
Yeah, but those are my favorite by far.
Yeah, of the right.
I still
And the
want
100 or 103, whichever, those elite targets from the raid, I was expecting to see them, and
Right.
but they don't even spawn. Like the super duper level was something entirely different.
Yeah, the 103 base part target was the 7th round for the TLC. I haven't seen any of those spawn in the past week.
Yeah, they're gone, or seem to be gone. I don't know.
And they were kind of hard.
Yeah, but I wish we had the elites from the raid, as a
Yeah.
high level option.
Yeah, and those targets from the raid by the end, they had them right. You could do them no damage if you were good, but on average, people were taking damage from them, so it's not like
They were going to lose money.
right.
Yeah, people wouldn't be able to do 5-6 of them without making any mistakes. I mean, very hard to get that done.
Okay, I just noticed the message that George had sent me earlier, where for $199 you can buy a outfitted gridiron and 4 outfitted monoliths for $199.
With charged armor and all the top blueprints.
I didn't buy it. I don't know what's. It would be nice if they gave you that kind of detail. I think this popped up during the show, so maybe I haven't had a chance to go to the forums because right now I can't even. I have to go to open up the forums, then go to incognito window to even be able to look at them.
Well, I sent you a pic. I sent you a pic so you could actually put them on the show if you'd wanted, but clearly
Yeah,
you didn't
I
say
mean-
it while you.
Well, we're still live. I mean, I could. It's just as far as let me see.
Well, don't they show up on your offers on your screen?
No.
Not if you already
Not if-
have monoliths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is people that don't have monoliths. Okay.
And like
Yeah. Robin's the one that sent me those because a friend of hers had them, and like I don't have a single offer right now in mine.
Yeah,
Right,
I went to double check my alt account and it didn't get it either. But I mean, it's a low level, so
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, my low-level alt account that's been inactive for 3 months, I logged in and I got 4 monoliths with 4 or 5 specials, and OU mortar, and the Zealous tank fully equipped.
wow.
Not bad.
See, I haven't gotten anything on mine. And I check in
Yeah.
I try and check in once every 3 months.
Maybe I need to take a few months off.
Yeah, 3 months seems to be enough. I mean, but it's random. You don't always get it,
Yeah,
right?
I-
And if you log in on the wrong day, you reset the inactive counter, I guess, and then you're screwed.
Yeah, I put it up. I put up the shot that you sent me, as far as the cost and the description. So
Yep. And those each have one of each charged armor on it. They all have the garrison battery on it. I think they're equipped with
Okay.
the OU mortar, and I didn't catch anything else. Did you catch anything else, Ren?
Nope. I'm just receiving my news from the same source you are. Someone in Ruse Alliance who can even take proper screenshots, but took a picture of the screen and send it to her.
I love those screen photos.
Yeah, well, at least you know it's not photoshopped.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, and the base hits recorded with the iPhone. Those ones are precious as well.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, but maybe we should get to the heart of the matter. That it's $200. It would be interesting to see this compared to the Visagos icebreaker with 4 icebreakers. How they would charge you for that relative to this one.
Well, I'm still curious to see what the specials they put on the ships, and just to see if they're actually good. Because sometimes, like the setup they gave for Future My Alt was missing 2 specials, had no armor, so it's not. You can say it's a complete fleet that can do 80s all day long. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
it's got.
I'm not complaining because it's free, but it's like probably 3/4 of the way there.
It's got 100 million in points worth of charged armor on it. I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
But
Now, here's a question: do you think somebody who doesn't? My question is pretty much: people who can spend 200 or are willing to spend $200 on this game probably coin a lot and already have the monos and the fleet built. So it's kind of like, is there anyone left who coins at that level who doesn't have that fleet already?
maybe somebody like I can think of two people that used to be on the show. Let's give the example of like not that I'm speaking ill of them, but they would be tempted to do it, like Tito or Inspector Gadget left the game and might be tempted by something like this. I'm thinking that might be the target audience. Somebody like that.
People coming back, yeah.
Yeah, people that were coining got pissed off, left, and they're willing to coin again. Does that make sense, Ren?
Yeah, it could be, but not that. No, I wouldn't expect like hundreds and hundreds of people in that category. But okay.
How many sales would that be?
Well,
not many.
But still, right? I mean, it's, again, what I like about the offer is like nobody has to take them, right? So it's a non-intrusive way for them to make money instead of like imposing hefty repair bills on everything we do. Oh wait, they do that too. Never mind.
You know what?
There was only one offer we had to take.
I'd pay 50 coins to get my grid aura back to where they had originally said it was.
Yeah.
My second question is, with all the quirks driving the mono, do you think someone buying that fleet right now would know what to do with it on Thursday?
Oh, they're gonna be so unhappy.
I still don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm hoping my Citadel.
It's not an easy drive.
Right.
No.
I think the thing that I did last time I took him out that I'll probably be doing again is I just had to like put him in formation and just sit there and just wait like 10, 15 seconds. Just sit and wait just so everything clears, so everything starts moving the same again.
I have to do the
That's a pain
same
in the
thing.
ass.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
And pretty much every time I stop or I adjust one ship and stop the other, same thing.
Not fun.
No.
All right. Hey, I really
all
do
the
have to.
realignments. Okay.
Larry knows my analogy to the model with NASCAR.
Night, Larry.
Yeah.
Later.
Later, Larry.
Bye, Larry.
So does anybody have anything else that's good for the live stream? Because I can post the link for anybody that'd like to join us in the after show, or if anybody has anything else, feel free.
I got it out of my system yesterday.
Oh boy, did you?
That was the nice version.
But did you?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna actually try I'm gonna get the tokens at the beginning and build the Zealous or refit my Zealous and see if I can do something with that. Otherwise, I'm still gonna stack. I don't care.
My
It's
priority
just
one,
so
I mean,
much easier.
I'm doubling down on my Imperium, so my priority one is to get the heavy mortar, get Imperium tokens, and mount at least. If I can mount all four, I will. But if not, like 2 or 3 of them.
Oh, I did have a question. I'm very, I haven't built an Empyrean, and I haven't even finished a Zealous. But I was playing with some of the numbers as far as the resistance numbers associated with this. It lacks deflection. The Empyrean lacks deflection, but once you put the heavy mortar, some the MX3 and some charged armors on it, you can get the resistances very high. Do you think, much higher than you can get on the Zealous? Does anybody that's played with them before think that it might be like the Empyrean might be a better potential tank because of the high resistances relative to what you could get on the Zealous?
Now, when you say the super high resistance, are you including all the ores buffing resistances?
again, I'm not. That's why I'm throwing it out there, because I haven't built any of these things. I was just sort of.
Okay. No, I mean you can.
I was throwing out some of them, but it seemed like even with I did throw in the one resistance from the, because I'm assuming the Empyrean impacts itself.
Self-activate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yes.
self-activates. So it's weren't the numbers like 97, 98?
With the heavy mortar solved the dilemma I had, because after they nerfed the shield in the charged armor, which is what I was using whenever I made a mistake to keep the ships alive and well. I started taking damage, like serious damage, whenever I made a mistake. So I was considering removing viscosity regulator and putting MX3 on my Imperials. They didn't have MX3, right? But then I would lose damage output or splash, right? So now the mortar giving plus 50% on each resistance. If you get a naked Empyrean and you add the heavy mortar, you're already at 78%. Pen and explosive, both.
Okay.
Now, if you put a couple charged armor, now you add 18% of the 22% you have left. Now, like when you add the auras, the MX Prime, I think, adds 40% resistance on what's left. So even without MX3, you're already going to be in the low mid 90s. Just stacking the auras and having the heavy mortar and having the charged armor. Then you have some deflection. Then you have turret resistance. I mean, not in this order, but anyways, the back line is going to be safe. But as a tank, I think if you put MX3, it would be enough to tank, except for the deflection.
But would you use the Empyrean flagship as the tank, or would you keep a Zealous?
No, I'll keep the Zealous because I'm set up this way.
Okay. And then the question is, I guess, for everybody that's been asked in chat, if you have the blueprints for the Monos, the Icebreakers, and the Empyrean, and the Zealous, which one would you build at this point in time? Holsch, you get an answer, don't you?
I have no idea.
I would still build the Empyreans and the Zealous.
Yeah.
And also, a simple reason, but weird, and many people may not agree. I do not enjoy driving the monoliths. It's the subjective reason. It's not a numbers reason, because the monos do have higher damage output. I just do not like driving them, period. It's personal. I'm not going to try to convince anyone of that. I just find them super weird and awkward and pretty much made to force your hand to make mistakes. I don't like that. Empyreans drive, it's very smooth. They're fast. They stack together. They stay together. I can get used to them a lot easier. I just like driving them better, even though they do less damage.
Yeah, and the decision might have been harder 2 days ago.
Potentially.
Well,
They still drove weird.
They still drove weird, but not as weird as they're going to drive now. Because you could still stack them at that point, and
well, and let's face it, you can still stack. You just don't get any of the bonuses from the aura.
Yeah, well, especially lacking the siege deflection. That's big if you don't get that from the aura.
Mistakes will be deadly without the aura. That's the whole thing. On a 100, if you make a mistake and your models without deflection take damage, they'll likely die.
Yeah, but do you have, historically, as far as the way Kixeye works, don't you think I think they keep on going out there and trying, their will is to try and fix the monolith and the gridiron monolith. But they seem to be failing.
No, they're failing because instead of the hull being the solution to the problem in the target, they put the problem in the hull.
Yeah, but they keep on making changes to it, is what I'm saying. But they keep on, the first one last week was good. This week wasn't good.
Agreed.
But, don't you think in their desire, their desire is to make the monolith and the gridiron monolith the best hull combination
And yet
for this grade cycle.
it's
But
one of
they're
the
failing
hardest. Yeah, it's one of the most difficult ones to actually. I think it is the most difficult one to drive of all three of the options.
Oh, by far. I mean, the icebreakers. I mean, well, unless you're trying to snipe with the icebreakers, and we're going to see how that works out, because the icebreakers are sort of difficult with the whole sniping thing that you need to do with them. But yeah, it seems like the Zealous Empyrean thing is just a simplified version of the gridiron monolith and the monolith.
And not to mention, the top speed is faster, and you get top speed all the time.
Yeah. I think, I mean, one of the big changes after they changed the mechanic of the gridiron monolith aura is to get rid of the accelerate, because the accelerate portion is impossible to use at this point, because you need to stop and start and all this stuff to keep them inside of that aura. And now that it's so far back, as opposed to being able to stack them and control them to drive correctly, yeah, I think they should convert that accelerate and take that combat speed and push it to the movement category and have that be a constant speed for them.
Look, that between that and the way that the 100 was designed, it makes me. I mean, that leads me to believe that they actually did originally intend, or whoever actually designed the hull actually knew that you could stack them, right? I think somebody somewhere else changed the whole they shouldn't stack type of idea, because otherwise that mechanic makes no sense.
But can you think of any, from the player's perspective, can you see any negative ramifications of getting rid of the accelerate and transferring that combat speed to being a constant? Can you think of anything that
it would make it easier to drive. You could actually do a long offset that way, where you have a trailing fleet behind, because then you can match it and not have to worry about anything, or the turns or any of that other crap.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering if there's any, because, I agree with what you're saying, but I just can't think of anything that would actually, like, unless you really needed to, like, edge in on something, having that constant combat speed would make sense, because nobody's going to have the patience to constantly go through, reset all their fleets all the time within a target multiple times in order to get the spacing right. You have to now, yeah. I mean, that's the problem.
Wait, if you move one ship and don't move the others, or if you move your tank and you don't move your backline, whatever, they'll just get out of sync. Now you got to stop in the safe corner and accelerate again and proceed. It's a time waster, not to mention increases the odds you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
I
mean it's an Apollo mechanic, right? And I think whoever actually came up with it originally, or the mechanic at least to add it to this, actually understood the whole Wake tactical range and where it actually was, and was thinking of using this like an Apollo and kiting the edges of the targets, which you can do if you stack properly. I actually tried it in a couple of targets, and you can. There's a couple times you have to stop, but you could actually catch the very edge of the backside of some of the turrets to get the whole platform. It's doable. It takes a lot, and that does take a lot of skill to do. So, I don't know. I don't know what I just don't understand the whole thought process right now.
Yep.
Well, I hear ducks.
Yes,
I heard geese. Yeah,
I heard
not
geese.
here. It's not near my house. It's not.
They're not Canadian. I think the Canadian geese are actually in the U.S. at this point.
They are.
They're coming back. They're starting to nest here.
I was just, who's letting the Canadians across the border? Is that you, Holsch?
Nope.
No.
Okay, just making sure.
That's
Holsch is out there building the wall. Keep the Canadians out.
Can I add? I wanted to say about the icebreakers. I tried my whole fleet with the Visago and the 115, and it did a lot better with the charged armors than it did with the regular armors, the D1s. So I'm thinking the icebreakers would probably be a good option for
That's
them.
good news. I mean, for those who didn't scrap their icebreakers.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, the icebreaker's got that buff, so you're seeing a massive jump in your stacked buffs, and then the charged armors, bring it from what 5 to 18%
Yeah.
for resistances on each one. So I would hope that you see a significant increase in productivity out of it.
Also, the regular icebreakers cannot get bloodthirst for the other one for the Visago, so that's a big problem as well.
Oh, interesting. See, so that's all changed since because the Hawk Citadel, I mean the Hawk Cannoneer and Cannoneers all interacted properly. The Monolith and Gridiron are not, and I guess the Visago and the Icebreaker are not, which makes no sense to me at all. I mean, the Hawk Citadel and Citadels did. I mean, there's a bunch of people that built their the Monoliths and Gridiron Monolith with res caps, and they're boned. I mean, it's not good. All these changes and excuse me, and the thing is that they made these changes and there were unforeseen consequences. But rather than compensate those people or have go, okay, we'll refit them for you. What do you want? And rather than do that, they're just like just brushing their hands clean and going, well, that's that. I don't. That's just that's going to be a lot of disenfranchised players overall. That's never a good thing.
Well, one good thing is that we have a lot of tokens in the raid. If you want to do like a last minute refit, you could just get a few points.
Yeah, I mean, I do wish the Monolith and the Icebreaker ones were a little bit cheaper, just to throw us a bone, because holy crap, there's a lot of refits to do now. But I mean, I'm glad that they have them in there, because you have the regular tokens that you can get, right, and then you have either the Icebreaker or Monolith ones that you can use, and then they got the Zealous ones in there again. They got Empyrean ones in there again, which is good, because a lot of people have, like, I have a Zealous that was built for the 109s, the ones that are current FM, and they're heavy on explosive resistance. So I got to refit those to fit these targets, and I'm glad that I have the option. I mean, that's good. I'm never going to frown on tokens in a raid. That's always a fantastic.
Yeah, but let's keep in perspective that to get a full 10 day of tokens for a top ship is 9 A sets to be done. So you score 30 million points. So it's not that easy. I mean, the tokens are there. They're not easy to get.
Or 6 S sets, right?
Or 6 S targets. And the other thing is, when you say, was leaning towards explosive for the 109, well, we saw in preview was more towards M. I hope they don't change again in live raid, because they can't. Remember, everything is subject to change.
They did in the last. I mean, we had two previews, and then they changed a massive change to a mechanic for the live raid. That's true.
Yeah.
So we're all. I'm also thinking. I mean, my Gridiron Monolith is taking a lot of damage right now. It's not good, because it's all X armor, regular D5X. I plan on putting 2 charged M, 1 charged X, or maybe all 3 charged M. I don't know yet. Assuming they don't change from what we've seen in preview, but we don't know.
And the funny thing is I was talking with a couple people, actually with Heffy last night, with a couple people too. Over the last several days, we've been testing some of the targets out, and I swear, like, I can't prove it. I don't have anything that I can substantively show that this is accurate, but I could almost swear that there are 2 different arc missiles in the 115s. Some of them come down and they do both missile and explosive damage, and some of them come down and do heavy just missile damage. And I don't know. I think they're testing stuff in those targets still up until last night, and I don't know what we're going to see when the raid starts tomorrow.
Exactly. So I wouldn't advise people to just go refitting things on the first 12 hours. Just
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, you're right. Yeah,
kill the
yeah.
targets.
I'm just glad that the tokens are there, so the option is there.
My expectation, and I hope I'm not wrong, is that the 80, 83, 85 will be the same. Slightly more health, maybe slightly more damage if you get in range of the rockets, but same layout, same ranges. Same with the 60s. If that's the case, at least, like again, that should be doable with improved icebreakers and with the Imperial Zealous fleet and even the Citadel with Tide Seekers and so on.
Yeah, I mean that's my hope as well, because otherwise they're going to lose a lot of people. I mean, it's really, you don't really need as many points this time around because you probably already got your flagship. So your requirement dropped by 40 million relative to last raid.
Yep.
So yeah, if it's a little bit tougher, that's one thing. But if it's if they do
Well-
something like their like the minimum range thing, where they extended the range on the
Yeah.
Halo, that's going to cause those people a lot of.
I'm just hoping we can
consternation.
drive the same way. That's what I'm saying. If we can drive the same way, stop in the same places, I'll be a happy pirate during raid.
Good,
I'll just
yeah.
get my Zealous, I'll get my Imperials, I'll go out, I'll kill some 80s, I'll be happy. Right?
And
I'll try the 100s, and if they're too bad or, we'll see. But at least I know I have a fallback plan to get what I want.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I hope they do that. I really hope they don't create a mechanism that basically obliterates the Citadels, especially because, when we're talking about the pricing, that the Harlock Citadel isn't it more expensive than the Empyrean? Or, it's doing, it's not like I'm confused until we see it. I mean, I've been confused by what they've been doing recently. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
You know what? One of the good things is too, though, right? Because we've been spending so much time. Oh, that's me. Hold on.
Okay.
It's
George,
the collectors. The collectors are calling him again.
Yes. They want all his raid points.
Hi, Brian.
It's
What is it?
How you
Sorry,
doing, Brian?
that was.
Just got back from attending a group session where nobody showed up.
Oh,
And,
not touching
yeah.
that one at all. Not even touching that one at all. So,
Group of
one of the-
one.
Group-
I don't know.
Oh,
So it's one of
the,
those cases where
operations
Brian
marketing.
went there and Brian Rendick.
Yes.
One of the good things about the raid though is that we've spent so much time doing the PvP stuff, the PvE stuff, right? And getting ready for this raid, and we're gonna have to refit based on what we see in this raid for next raid, right? So we don't really have to worry about the PvP stuff, so we can skip all of that, and then we're gonna have whatever's left of the month to maybe catch up on something PvP-ish, like maybe I don't know, base guard or something. So we really don't have to worry about the right-hand side. And then the next raid, we're going to have the new, hopefully, the skill hall this time, because I don't want to go through this same shit again. And, we're going to be building another raid fleet again. So,
And
Yeah.
sometimes I even wish that they gave up on this whole auto haul and skill haul, because honestly, that worked really well for the Hellwraith and Tide Seeker. It did not work well for Cannoneer and Ironclads, because Ironclads suck.
Yep.
And it's not, maybe it's going to work well now on raid number 2, and the Icebreakers would be cool, but raid 1 didn't work.
yeah, but this
So I
time
don't
now,
know, why don't
they're
they
having to
focus on
build for
doing one
3.
decent good haul,
Yeah, I mean, right now they got to do 3 instead of just 1 or 2 even, because now we got the generalist in the mix too. So what the hell? I mean, if we're going to do
Which
that, then
I'm expecting for next cycle, they just release some sort of different weapons and special for the 2 generalists, but they're still the same. You know what I mean?
that'd be nice.
Zealous with new missiles and new specials, and they can do the assault targets with missiles.
Yeah, or cut. I mean, if they're not going to go to a 4-month raid cycle, at least cut one of these trees off, or one of these limbs off the tree.
Yep.
Because they're having a hard time dealing with, the monolith, the icebreaker, and and the generalist combination.
And it's more work on them too, right? Because now they have to find targets that keep icebreaker owners happy, and targets that keep monolith owners challenged but happy, and targets that work for the. It's
Yeah.
kind of a clusterfuck.
I mean, honestly, while I love the idea of the auto hull, it's not panned out because we're not going to be able to use these to actually auto crap. Like I would love to auto my FM, but it's not going to happen. So
Maybe they need 3 strikes to be out. I mean, I don't know, right? Because right now it's 2-1.
I don't
the
think
auto
they even have
hulls.
to wait. I don't even think they have to wait that long. I would just kill the auto hulls entirely and just stick with the generalist and the specialist. Honestly, I mean, it would make life so much easier for everybody.
Yeah.
Except they need to make the generalists actual generalists now and not, one new fleet per raid cycle. Because we had the Zealous with the
Well,
Scourge.
Well,
and
that's
the
why Ren
Imperians.
that's why Ren said keep the generalist and just change like the missiles for the zealous or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna, but that would be nice.
Ideally, I'd like to see, missile and specials for the Zealous, and now the Zealous is a subpar Apollo, or just actually better than the Apollo, but not as good as the top new assault hull, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as they put enough corrosive defense on those missiles, it'll be okay.
Yeah, that's what they did with the cannons, right? For the previous cycle, for the Zealous. I mean, people who built the Zealous with the cannon and the seismic round special were happy.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be like I wouldn't cry if they said, "Oh, we're gonna kill the auto hull option." I mean, that's fine. I can live with that.
No, me neither, because it's actually less confusing and would probably allow them to focus more on a better player experience instead of trying to come up with all those convoluted solutions.
Yeah, and then maybe not have to change something 2 days before the raid because someone came up with a good idea.
Yeah, they'll change 3 days before, George, just for you.
Yes, it was just for George. There's some Orion in the chat asked, does it make sense to pick up? I'm assuming the Visaga's icebreaker at this point. I mean, my thought is we need to figure out how the icebreaker functions during the raid. So
Yeah,
if the icebreaker functions well during this raid, and you have a bunch of icebreakers built, then it probably makes sense.
Mark did okay with his in the preview on the 84, and he actually pulled off 100, but I don't know that it was an economical choice.
It was, and I mean, he had the fleet survive to the end of the 100, but they were pretty beaten up, and the icebreakers in preview were already buffed, so it's not that now it's better. That's pretty much as good as they could get, I think, even after the buff.
Yeah.
But it was a good choice for the 84.
I mean, 84 provides 800,000, so it's a good amount of points.
It's a lot better than grinding the 60s.
True.
The sets, right?
Yep.
Yeah, or I mean, if we can still do the 80s like we did them last time, you can use them as a prep hull for your Citadels and Punishers or Tideseekers or whatever, assuming they haven't changed stuff too much.
Is Rum still in the chat? Because he said something on one of the posts that his duality was actually still working on the Ark. And I from all the people that I started asking since last night, everyone's saying duality and Trident is not firing on the Arks. But they fire on the missiles still. They still fire on the executioners.
Okay.
So I find it interesting. Very, very interesting.
Oh, Raptor's asking, since we brought up TSM's run in the on the 84 with the icebreaker, how many coins was that?
I don't recall.
Yes, and Rumor is still here.
Well, I recorded 3 people doing the 84. I posted it on my YouTube channel. I mean, it was reasonable. People, even with a guy, the first one, Hans Zohe, with 3 icebreakers, the Vasago and 2 regulars, he did the 84. And I think he said it was 6 coins, but only 3 ships. And then Dirty Harry did them with 5 ships, Vasago included, and did really well.
So less
and
than
by
5.
really well, I mean, I think it was like 3-4 coins without any crews.
Okay. And Run
So-
Runner says he hasn't been able to test anything because the FM
They're
fleets
gone.
are gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
Well, should I
We'll find out tomorrow.
should I end the live broadcast and go to the after show so all those people that are scared of George can join the show? Super celeb,
Oh
Gotta be.
God.
got to be a little bit of feared.
I give up. Ugh.
Wait, Ren, are you wearing a shirt anymore? No, that's your arm. Okay.
No, I have a shirt.
I love I was looking at the small close up, down at the bottom, and it was like the way your arm was positioned. It looked like you had decided, well, I'm getting rid of this shirt. This
Scared
is
of
this is the crib show. I don't need to wear a shirt, but I was just checking.
Who the heck is scared of George?
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I'd like to know.
Well, yeah. Yes.
George and I just like to argue about monoliths.
Yeah, well.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Ron.
All right, now that Kev's here, I'm leaving. Bye. Oh hell.
Talk about the sous vide a little more. Where'd he go?
The what?
Well, that's hard to manage. I mean, half are making fun of me, my son calling me, and it's just too much. I can't multitask.
No, I mean, I don't know if anybody else saw it, but you had your arm in front. It's at least it seems like you went completely unbuttoned because it's very dark there. It was a curious picture to see.
Yeah, no, I still have my Lake Superior T-shirt here.
Okay, very good. We try to keep a certain level of decorum on this show, Ren.
Yeah, let the ladies
Ren,
go talk.
I don't know why I keep on calling you Ren now. I don't. Did Liam invent that name, or did you start?
No, that's how a lot of my friends call me. It's Renato, so people just call me Ren.
Okay. No, I know it's Renato. Renato. I was just, because
I mean,
Liam
have you
has-
seen Liam trying to
has
pronounce names?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Liam.
I had
once
to
you get-
simplify. I mean, he manages to mess up Brian.
yeah. Once you
So I
go
had to
past,
simplify.
yeah. Once you go past the second syllable, it's like bonus points for Liam. But
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, I almost pissed my pants laughing when I told him to try and say Argyropoulos, like George's last name. He can't.
I don't think he's gotten it right once.
No.
Single time.
And that is multiple bonus points to get George's name right. I mean,
It's not that
I just
bad.
enjoy him reading the bug fixes, and when you have Stu do it, Stu does a little bit better. But yeah, it is always amusing, especially
fell
with the Drake. Especially the
I
Drake.
fell off
base.
my. Go ahead. Yeah, Drake. I fell off my
Drake.
chair when he got innervated. Right. I said, "Oh my God, he did it."
Oh, that's because we had said it first is the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said it. I should have made him say it before saying it, and he wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah. The only thing Liam does worse than trying to say George's name is driving subs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
He still hasn't quite got the handle of that either.
well. At least he won't have to do it for a while. Driving subs, or
True.
probably saying George's name. Unless somebody forces him to.
He tried last. I think he actually was gonna try last show, and he just kind of tried to. He turned it into a joke instead. I was like, yeah, I don't think you're gonna do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, the whole thing where he was,
Liam's a great guy. I have a blast with him. It's fun.
Yeah, he can actually. And the thing is, he doesn't take it. He doesn't take it personal or anything. He's not sandy about it. He's like, yeah, that's what it is. What it is, and that's it.
Yeah.
or salty.
Yeah, George Salty.
I was salty.
Stu Sandy.
Stu is sandy.
See? And what's
Sandy-
Brian?
Sandy B.
Liam's gooey and Brian's brainy.
Okay. Very good.
Brainy Smurf. There you go.
Yeah.
Actually, I call him Doogie Howser, but that's okay.
That's between you and him and four walls. Now keep us out of it.
Yeah.
Or between the two
Yeah.
doors.
Yeah. Or behind one of the two doors.
Right.
Brian needs to have his own Sunday show.
George is in the closet.
George, come out of the closet.
George!
I can't. He locked it. He locked it, and I'm handcuffed in here, man. Come
Oh,
get
that's
me out
the
of here.
echo I keep hearing. Oh, nobody else is hearing that.
Because you guys have heard or seen the Between Two Ferns, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. With your
Okay,
with
but
your
yeah,
countryman,
Brian,
George.
Between Two Doors. That would be great.
My countryman.
Yeah, the
Two
bearded
ferns?
guy with the long Greek name like yours.
I
The
still
guy
have no
from
idea.
the Hangover.
Oh, Galifianakis?
Yes.
What
he
about him?
presents
that was-
Between Two Ferns. I mean, check on YouTube. It's awesome. It's hilarious sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, but what
That
I'm
was
saying,
good effort.
Brian,
One try.
Brian needs to
What?
convert it to Galifianakis.
One
Brian
try?
needs to convert that to like a Sunday show Between Two Doors, and I think it would play well.
Yeah. Hey, Kev, it's not too hard when you actually can speak Greek. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, Galifianakis. I think that's the name of the guy.
All right. Well, anything else before we go to the after show?
That's the third time he asked, so let's go to the after show.
No. I'm just making. Yeah, I'm pushing you for content, Ren.
I have no content.
I'm here with the cattle prod, just to make sure, because people complain that sometimes that the show will run for multiple hours, but as long as we got content that people want to see, I want to keep it on the air. As long as we're, not, talking about sous vide stuff and people don't care. But obviously some people do care about sous vide food. But, I'm just, I'm good as long as people have stuff that they want to talk about that they think is relevant to the community. And I think we've been good with that. Even though we're at basic an hour and 50 minutes. Yes. Raptors. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm pretty scared. I'm pretty scared for tomorrow. The raid. I might just skip it because I have a mortar hole. It's called the Oppressor. Will
Yeah.
it do as well as the Falcon?
Well, there's the Oppressor, there's the Sloth, then there was the Imperium, then there was the Monolith, and people could still use the Citadels. And then you name all the mortars and all the mortar specials and explosive specials. It's been a bit of an overload, and I think things would work better in cycles.
Well, I can tell you what, so far 2017 has been a crackpot for these guys. They don't know what they're doing.
Fun time.
All right. Who's outside?
I don't know.
Let them in.
No, somebody's like windy.
Oh. Could be me. I've got an air conditioner running in the background.
You pain in the ass. Yep, it was you.
Okay.
You suck.
Yeah. Fix it. Fix it. They gave me crap about having an overhead fan running. So yeah. It's surprising how sensitive our mics are.
Well, I've got one of those too, so I'm doubly screwed.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit excited about the raid tomorrow.
I'm not.
Excited?
It's like it feels like you bet on a horse, and it's like you either pick the icebreakers, the monolith, or the generalist hole, and then you win if you pick the right one.
Yeah, see, that's kind of stupid in this game, though, because if I want to gamble like that, I'll go and, pick a pony.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, they kind of change stats of hulls after they're released, but really close to the raid. So you can't really know what the horse is going to do at the end.
Shit, you're not even
You
driving.
can change the Imperiums. I'm happy I picked the Imperiums. Did I mention how happy I am I picked the Imperiums?
Shut up,
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah, they're gonna double the health just to mess with you.
I make it more comparable. If I make if I have a choice between two tuna fish salad sandwiches, one's been sitting in the refrigerator for 2 weeks, and the other one's fresh made, but it's been sitting out on the counter for 9 hours. Which one do I want to eat? That's more how I'm looking at it.
I'd have to go with the counter. Anyway.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you.
I'd order a black coffee and just walk away.
Yep. There you go. Unfortunately, we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we are. I guess maybe I ended it with that. And let's Doolittle. You there?
Did he show up? Look at that.
No, he's been here for a while. I just wanted to derive a little content out of Doolittle if he's still paying attention.
Wake up, old man.
I muted him because I thought, unmute yourself, Doolittle. Because I muted him because I was just going to go through and.
Yeah.
Okay. You got anything you want to say?
No, I think I'll have a beer here in a minute, though.
Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty. And
Fantastic addition to the show, man. Good job.
And let's see. Judge Steele, you haven't talked in a while. Anything? Or Mike? I just trying to,
Yeah, I'm hoping that Moose and Squirrel bring their gay game tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. Bring your A game tomorrow.
Did you say their A game or their gay game?
Yeah, I heard the latter.
I don't know what A game, but
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
Well, I might proceed to the after show unless we want to talk about what was going on with the duality countermeasure, and we don't want to talk about that.
I'm curious to find out. I will admit I'm still very salty of their nerfing of a specific build. Thanks, Kixeye. I mean, I'll take it as a compliment on one level, but
Yeah, a lot of people have probably figured it out. There's a lot of people in the game, so they can probably figure out some analytics.
And there's not really much.
It's not always about the super celeb.
Oh, yes.
Not always, just sometimes.
Yeah.
All right.
So that means we can blame Ren, right?
Well, that's a good place to start.
Okay. I
I
blame
blame
Ren.
anybody on the town. We should get Larry back on and bring in Price. We'll blame everybody on the town hall.
I'll blame the guys who are blaming the TFC, who are blaming the crib on the crib about blaming the TFC on the crib because of the TFC.
What?
Just check the Alliance crib page. A lot of salty guys blaming TFC for everything. On the crib. Because of, it's just an interesting relationship between the two pages.
Well, I mean, the TFC has standards, and
I mean, look, there is one thing I do feel bad that people took my advice and now they're all fucked because 2 days before the raid.
So he took bait. In the end, we can all blame George. Period. He just said it.
I mean, I feel bad. I do. I feel like that. That annoys me. That actually annoys me more than anything else. That's why I'm so fucking salty. Is because of that. Because if it was just me, that's fine. I can adjust. I know I can adjust. I have the toys to adjust. But everyone else that copied that shit is boned, especially if they don't have the tech depth.
Refute. I took your advice, and here's what I did. I took off those siege cannons. It took less than 5 minutes, and I'm still holding my 20-day token. And now that I know how I'm apparently supposed to drive them, maybe it's going to be okay. I'm a gamer. I adapt and overcome.
I like Brian's level of confidence. I suppose I know maybe. I like that.
Wow. I mean, given how frequent and how volatile the changes to this game have been in the past few weeks, who can say anything for sure ever? But
I'm
Do
driving
what you
mine
can.
stacked still. I'm still going to drive them stacked, and then when I get the Zealous done, that's going to take the place of the Gridiron.
That's my choices are Empyreans with the Zelos or not gridirons, monoliths with the Zelos.
Did we ever get
Yeah.
word back on the heavy mortar and salvo damage or MERV damage
Nope.
split?
I
Okay.
have.
I guess it wouldn't matter because it's not released yet, but it would be nice to know.
Well, we know 32 shells will hit the target, and the only question is that 7,000 building damage, is that per MERV or divided by 4? That's
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't.
literally
see
a
it
difference
being
of-
per.
So I'm gonna
Me
say
either.
I got a first answer, and then I got the person who gave me the first answer scratching their heads and say, "Oh, you know what? Let me check first because I'm not sure." But it's okay. It's not his job to be sure, so he's back checking, and I didn't hear back. So I'll leave it.
And and do those spread numbers between the initial and the MERVs, do those multiply?
I hope not.
Or do they? I mean, is it
So
like?
yeah, I mean the main salvo, the 8, they have a low spread, so they will go different ways. But then each one of them spreads, MERVs and spreads further. Yes.
Yeah.
And also, there's a
Now
graphic.
my problem, and I don't know if it's my shipyard or something on my game. I read the blueprint. I think the MERV spread is 100 or 110, something like that. But as soon as I put the mortar, even though I don't have it, so it's red line, but I put the mortar on the ship, and I look at the ship stat block on the right, and the spread goes up to 150. It doesn't match the blueprint anymore.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like whenever I even put on my mono on there, it has the MERV thing on there, even though it's not with any MERV mortars, and it has the MERV spread of 50.
Yeah,
So-
30
Yeah,
to
so
50, right? 30 to 50?
I think it was a hidden stat in the hull, perhaps, that increases even more the spread on that guy.
I almost think like base the MERV, it adds 50 spread to it no matter what.
Yeah, which means probably the MERV from the judgment, when it happens because of countermeasures, should maybe also get an extra spread. I don't know.
Yeah, and also I noticed that whenever I added the heavy mortar, it adds 100 ship and structure deflection, not 50 like it
Not
says.
50. I noticed the same thing. I wasn't going to say, especially live, but yeah.
That's why I got Holsch. Holsch has no fear. He
It's
only
about-
slept for 20 minutes last night.
It's
What were you
about
doing,
time you
Holsch?
started talking.
That was the night before, Hefe.
Oh, okay. Oh.
That's
Oh,
why I
that's-
fell asleep in the after show thing. Or, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's the same night that Brian went to his the Rainbow Prom. You weren't there, were you?
Oh, that was a different day.
Okay, alrighty.
He was the prom king.
I see.
Wait,
The trainee dance, is that what it was?
so was there still a prom king and queen there?
No, it's a prom king and king, and then a prom queen and queen.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how it works.
I actually thought it was the prom king/queen.
I don't know. I haven't gone to one of these functions.
I don't know. Brian apparently has. Brian, let us know. I mean, come on.
No, I don't know because I didn't go.
He bailed last
got-
minute.
He got friend zoned, so yeah.
Yeah.
He got picked up outside.
See,
So-
that's an after show conversation.
Yeah.
On maybe on the TFC, but not on the crib show.
Yeah, well, Brian's already
You know
Brian's,
how it goes.
Brian's hiding his face, so I'm guessing it's not a crib conversation. So yeah, and I'm sure Rue will join us on the after show, so she can ask Brian these more pointed questions. But I think we're probably run out of material for the night, and we're right at 2 hours. I'd like to thank everybody in the audience and people that have joined the panel for helping us out and contributing. And
You're welcome, bitch.
yep, you got it. And I'm going to stop the broadcast, but we'll have the after show, and I posted the link in the chat, and I think we still have 1 or 2 empty spots. So feel free to join us, and good luck on your raid tomorrow. I really hope it goes well for everybody, because we haven't got a lot of communication from Kickside that it will, but hopefully we're pleasantly surprised like we were with the last raid. And you know, so does anybody want to say science or I'm salty? No, Brian's not paying attention.
Science.
Okay.
Yes,
Later,
sir.
everybody. Later,
Good
everybody.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Bota pra fuder todo mundo.
Good night.
What?